Hi, everybody. Happy post-Thanksgiving to everyone who got together with family and friends. Hope you all had a really great time. My name is Wendy Morgan. I'm a Senior Presidential Director. And today we are doing our personal development and training. And we have a special guest, one of my dear friends, Dr. Staci, with us today. Staci, will say hello.
Hi, how are you? So great to see all your beautiful smiling faces.
I'm so glad you are able to come here today. I know everybody is just on their edge of seat, similar to myself. I mean, we all have seen you, we've heard you, and I've had many conversations, but to really know the you that makes you and the personal development that you've gone through your lifetime, the trials and tribulations. And, I just cannot wait for us to get going and to get started. So why don't we just jump right on in? So Staci, why don't you just let everybody know exactly where do you live and a little bit about yourself, and then we'll kind of go from there.
All right. Well, I currently live in Sarasota, Florida. I have lived here for the last 8 years, but I'm originally from Evansville, Indiana. Lived there 40 years of my life and was a school teacher 30 years ago. So I've always loved teaching. I was the 2-year-old that set my infant down and started to read him little books. And by the time he could sit in a chair, he was in a classroom chair, and I was teaching him with little papers, coloring books and things like that. So I've always loved to teach. I've loved kids. I've loved to educate my entire life. And so I went to college to be a teacher. I got my BS and MA in education and loved that every second of it until I had my own kids. And then I decided that I no longer wanted to teach 160 kids a day. I wanted to teach my own too. So I found a way to be able to replace my income through multi-level marketing so that I was able to stay home with my kids, but be able to earn an income and have freedom and flexibility to do what I want. So I have been in the industry of direct sales, multi-level marketing for the last 20 years. And again, still teaching, I'm still educating every single day, except I do kind of have a little bit more of a captive audience sometimes with adults than with children. I taught middle school, inner city. So even though they were so delightful most days, they weren't always the most attentive. But a lot of times, they were amazing. I loved almost every second of it, but I still love to teach and I love to educate, and that's what I'm doing. And so my life has been always involved in reading and learning. I was a reading language arts teacher. So I've always been a reader and a researcher and learning and finding ways to help people fall in love with learning and to educating and growing themselves if they're in, middle school or if they're, 90 years old, anywhere in between, or 109, whatever. So that's kind of my background.
Wow. It's all like, I didn't even know that about you, Staci. How cool is that? I mean, again, like we all can do, you can just look and go, oh my gosh, I've got that in common with you. I'm an art teacher for the elementary school way back when. And so, wow, that is really, really cool. I just felt, a kindred spirit right there. Yeah. So that's really cool. Gosh. So now we know about the schooling part, but hang on a minute. Let me mute.
I got it. It's good.
I think she already muted.
Yeah.
Yes. Tell us a little bit. So what we call you Dr. Staci. So how did that come into play through your lifetime?
Well, that's kind of interesting. So I've never wanted to be a doctor. I've actually been someone that has stayed away from doctors, just because my background with my family was, very much essential oils and organic gardens, foods. We did things naturally. We didn't go to the doctor. I never had a sick day in my entire life, not in school or in even my teaching career. And so it was always just take care of yourself holistically. And I had gotten involved with going to a chiropractor when I was 18. My brother was introduced to a chiropractor on the baseball team. And so I started down that path, and then very quickly massage therapy and acupuncture and things like that. And so that was kind of always who I was, very much health oriented. And then I had kids, like I said, of course. And when my daughter was about 18 months old, we had some complications from a vaccine. And we kind of dealt with that on and off with blood work and different types of diagnosis and tests over about another couple of years. And then when she was 4.5, she was actually misdiagnosed with a couple different types of cancers, a bone cancer, a type of blood cancer, a different type of cancer. And so we ended up spending an entire year in the hospital. So from 4.5 to 5.5, we were in the hospital battling what they had told us was an adult leukemia for my 4-year-old. And so that year, spending about 6 months of that in ICU, I learned a lot in the medical world. And I'm so grateful for all of it, of course. You're like, hindsight's 2020. I wish I would have known what I know now back then. We would have never went to the doctor. But being holistic, that's all. My kids were good. They were healthy. And so when I was faced with this situation with her, it was like, this doesn't make sense. Nothing adds up. But yet they're very much, you have to do this now. You cannot leave. And this is what's happening. And then you try to chase your tail and fix all the things that had happened, right? And so finally, I learned enough from amazing nurses and a couple really good doctors. And to be honest with you, they were from the Middle East, Europe and the Middle East. These doctors were fantastic, and they actually would work with me. So I learned a lot from them, and the nurses taught me so much that I said, okay, I'm going to leave. I'm going to take her out of the hospital after a year against medical advice, and I'm going to go home and do this on my own. She was on 25 oral and IV meds. She had a PICC line, a central line, a G tube, a J tube, a trach, and a shunt in her brain. And like completely comatose, I can figure this out. And the nurses introduced me to some family that had started going to some craniosacral therapists, some holistic practitioners, acupuncturists, doctors of Eastern medicine. And so we went down that path. So pulled her out of the hospital, had all the medicine tubes, lines, everything, and started spending week-long what they call retreats with these different types of practitioners. And so fast forward to how I became Dr. Staci Holweger was 15 years of living with my child, obviously hands-on, detoxing her off the medications, doing everything I could. Obviously it took me about 1.5 years to get her off everything, but everything that I could to help her have, see what we had left mentally, quality of life, because she was in a wheelchair, full care, could do nothing. And about 1.5 years later, we realized, yes, she is cognitive. She does understand what we're saying. She got her off all the meds. She could communicate. But through the next 13 years has been spent in doing everything I can around the country and out to help her have the best quality of life. And so when I learned about the PhD the first one that I received in integrative medicine, which was back in 2000, I guess end of 18, I learned about that. And I looked at the coursework, I looked at the professors on staff, and I'm like, I've been studying these people forever because I've been in holistic health. I was a holistic health practitioner right away, after I got out of education. And so I'm like, this makes perfect sense to me. So I just did the fast track, honestly, BS to PhD. It took me about 6 months to do the coursework, taking the tests, reading the books, or about 50 classes. And then, of course, the dissertation, so that kind of thing. My second PhD is in functional medicine, and that one just kind of randomly happened this year. I don't know. I work with another friend, a doctor, and she's like, hey, I'm getting my PhD in functional med. Why don't you do that too? And I'm like, sure, let's just whip that out real quick. So we got that knocked out in about 4 months. But just really learning, I'm just a lifelong learner. I just love to learn. I love to educate myself. I feel like knowledge is very powerful, especially when applied. And so I spent a solid 15 years applying things within Taylor's life and also in my life, my husband's life. Like he just came in a second ago. He goes, hey, I'm feeling a little under the weather for some reason. All of a sudden, I'm like, I just had lunch with you 2 hours ago. You were great. And I was like, stick a glutathione right here. Here's some greens, some reds, some C's, some D's. Here's some essential oil, lemon. Pour this down your throat and go lay down for 10 minutes. I gotta Zoom. I'll be back in an hour. I'll check on you. So it's just, he's like, okay, I'll go do all this, and he'll get up in a minute. He'll be fine. But that's just how my doctorates came, because of my experience with Taylor. It just, to me, I didn't know why. Honestly, I had no idea, other than I had a feeling inside of me that said, you need to become a doctor. And I'm like, but I'm not going to do the MD thing. You can forget that. That's just not me, not who I am. Like I lived that. That was not my path. So when I was, like I said, introduced to that, I'm like, yes, integrative medicine, check. Functional medicine, check. That sounds fantastic. So.
So thank you again for sharing. But if you don't mind, I mean, you've been through it, girl. To have your child, I mean, from any mother's standpoint, to have your child go through something that there's no real clear answers, and you kind of come in that space of feeling helpless of what do I do, and also then the pressure of the medical system of you've got to do this. That's really overwhelming. And I mean, your personality itself almost is like, I swear to God, you're just, you've got earth sign in your and fire sign in your chart, because you're like, I'm here, and hear me roar, I've got my lightning bolt, don't bug me. But it had to have gotten you here. And how did you traverse through that time? And because I'm sure you already had multi-level marketing business going, because you said you were working with your kids at home and whatnot. And just in life in general, being a mom, being being a wife, being a business owner, et cetera, et cetera. And hearing your daughter, what she was going through at the time, that was heart-wrenching. I'm sure it pulled you off center. How did you traverse through that time?
Yeah, so I was involved in multi-level marketing and was able to stay home with the kids, right? Very shortly after that, replacing my income. And so when this happened with Taylor and got back, out of the hospital, I wasn't interested in getting full force back into that. I didn't have time. My mission became to help her. And I was introduced through a friend of mine in my organization in the first company that I was with. I was introduced to a group of people, men and women, and they called themselves the saging group. And a sage means the wise one. And so they said, we want you to come to this meeting on Tuesday morning. We've been doing all of this work on your daughter. And honestly, there was a point in the hospital when they're like, you're going to need to pull the plug. We can't get her oxygen above 80. Nothing we're doing is working. We don't have any other options. And my friend, she's a nurse, actually, she messaged me, she emailed me at that right time. And she's like, Staci, can we do some biofeedback on Taylor remotely? And I didn't know what it was back then. And I said, you can do whatever you want. I don't even know what you're talking about. She said, I need her exact time of birth, her exact location, her full name. And I just emailed it to her. And literally by the next day, her oxygen went straight up, like I'm covered in goosebumps, to 100. And 4 days later, we were off oxygen and out of ICU. They had been doing so much stuff on her, on meridians and all this stuff that I didn't even know they were doing, but they could tell they could tell this, my friend Rosie. And so I'm like, okay, when she reached out to me, she goes, Staci, I want you to come to this group. I'm like, I want to meet all these people that are responsible in my eyes for my child alive and getting out of the hospital. And so I went to the group, and they were all in their late 60s, 70s, 80s, just absolutely amazing souls. And we sat in this big horseshoe, and we started with the meditation and breath work. And we really, got into some different types of energy work, and to be able to help do some clearings and really calm the energy and make sure, I don't even know. We may have watched a videotape. And I remember this lady, Penny, coming up to me afterwards, and she said, honey, you need to come every single Tuesday at 9 a.m. And I said, like, my husband and my mother-in-law and my mom are at home right now with Taylor for this 2-hour period. This is a miracle that I could leave. And she looked at me and she said, if you don't take care of yourself, you're never going to be able to take care of anybody else, especially her. You need to have some help at home, and we need you to be here. You need to be here every single Tuesday, and we will help you get through this. And it was just like this huge wave like came over me. I'm like, okay. Because, you kind of think you're going to lose your mind, right? I literally had a hospital room in my master bedroom taking care of this child and doing all this stuff and, juicing and detoxing and cleansing and the medicines and everything. And so I thought, okay, I can do that. I will be here every single Tuesday. And so that turned into not only being there on that Tuesday, but then devouring the material that they were talking about, the authors, the books, stuff that I'd already kind of started to be exposed to, but even a more deeper spiritual level. And we really got into practices, and we ended up, for 4 years, I ended up going every single Tuesday. We'd go from 9 to 11, and then we'd have lunch from 11 to 1, and then we would do 1 to 4. And then we would do every other weekend workshops, and we'd have Taylor, they'd come to the house, we'd put her on massage tables, we'd do all this energy work, we'd take her to pools. I mean, we just did so much for 4 years solid with that. And what's interesting is right towards kind of like the end of that 4 years, Taylor was doing great. Like, I'm like, okay, fantastic. She's off all medicine. She's doing amazing. Life's perfect. My husband's like, you're retired. You don't have to ever work again. Don't worry about it. I've got this. And I still had residual income coming in from that first company. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I took a breath and I'm like, yes, everything's amazing. And literally the next day I went in to get a haircut and I ran into a lady that went in to get a bottle of shampoo that was in my upline in the previous company. And she said, I know you've been detoxing, Taylor, juicing. I have found something that I really think that would help her. It's a greens type of powder that would help to detox her body and keep her healthy. And it's super affordable. And I just got back from this conference with the doctors and the nurses and the formulators. And I'm like, really? I'm just retired. I was thinking about maybe even open up a wellness center. I've been teaching classes at the church to moms about how to get their kids healthy. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, I need to really like meditate on this and, think about this and pray on this and see what needs to happen. So anyways, I sat down like about 4 or 5 weeks later, and I just went online and I signed up and ordered every single thing. And of course, then that took me till the last, it was 11 years. Up until just, last year and a half ago when I was introduced to LifeWave. And so how building the business, like you said, business, mom, family, kids, responsibility, special needs, going all over. I worked everything around my kids. And so my business, everything I've done, the first company that I was introduced to was because of Taylor. She had eczema. We had a need for a product in that line. The second company I was introduced to was because of Taylor. We had a need for a product in that line, the greens product. This third company that I'm in now, LifeWave, it was introduced to because of Taylor, a need in that, product in that line, right? The stem cell activation patch. And so it's very much, there's not been a separation of here's my time, taking care of my child and keeping her well. Here's time taking care of my son that's 2 years younger. Here's husband time. Here's business time. It's life. And so for me, I've always merged it together, worked our life. The kids are first, right? Husband second, kids are first, take care of them first, hubby second, or maybe third, I don't know, myself first. I got to take care of myself first because I have to have that cup to be able to pour from. Okay. Let's just be honest. And so I'm going to do that, but those things go on my calendar first. Those are the most important things. And then I weave everything else in and out of it. And I think a big thing that people forget is that we all have 168 hours in the week. Like you don't get more than I do. I don't get more than you do. It's what we do with that time and how we maximize our time or waste our time on scrolling or, even back then when there was no scrolling, watching TV, remember you used to record shows. You could watch them when you were home. Like Brent he's always been a TV junkie. And I'm like, nah, not interested in that, so not very much anymore, obviously the last 10 or 15 years, but he used to be really big into recording shows when I met him 25 years ago. And so, just being able to know that we have that time, using your time wisely and saying, what is my purpose here? Like, what is my point in all of this? So I'm divinely led, right? I feel like my whole focus is to stay in alignment. And if something's not in alignment, I'm not going to do it, right? Every yes is divinely guided by God. Every no is divinely guided by God. And so whether it's a person or a situation or an environment or a company or whatever, it doesn't matter, but very much staying focused on what's my purpose. My purpose is to help other people, help my family first, right? Help other people improve their quality of life, physically, financially, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, whatever that is. But being an educator and a teacher, I want to help other people. And I think especially a lot of women want to help, right? We want to help other people, and sometimes men do too, but we want to help other people. So saying, how can I be productive with my time so that I am helping the most important people in my life? They go on my calendar first, and helping, other people that are important to me, my friends, my business partners, my extended family of people. And just being very on purpose with that, your time and your energy and your effort. I talked to Trey, my son, he just turned 18 today. And so he, wants to build his business with me. And I said, whatever you do, if you're going to sit down to have a conversation with somebody, whether it's by text or messenger or even in person, you be intentional with that conversation. know what your purpose is. And it's not to get a sale, right? Or to sign somebody up. No matter what your conversation is, it's about being on purpose and being intentional and having your energy into that. Because otherwise, it's just, what's really the point, right? They're going to feel if you're not connected, if you're not energetically entangled, right? Quantum entanglement. So staying very true to that belief that that collective consciousness is that we all definitely are entangled. We are all one, right? We know that, but giving respect to that, to not only to yourself and honoring yourself, but also honoring the other person that you're having that conversation with, whether it's through text message, messenger, or in person, you know?
I really love, and I hope everybody's hearing this. So two things that I really want to bring up. First of all, happy birthday to Trey. But main thing is balance and alignment. So important. So as everyone heard, Staci's talking about balance and what's really, truly important. I mean, a lot of people are like, well, I need money to come in for my family. Yes, that's important. But truly the relationship here, not only with self and with spirit, but with family, that's the most important, right? And we heard Staci talking about finding a balance and still weaving things in from her business and from other relationships, et cetera, et cetera. And secondly, which is so important, like I said, which is alignment, finding who you are, your true self, and in being in alignment with your spiritual connection with your God creator, whatever it may be for you, is so important, because therefore you're relying upon, as Staci said, she's already in that space of, if I get a yes, and I know it's a divine yes. If I get a no, I'm not going to wig about it. It's a divine no. I'm not meant to work with that person. Great. Saves me some trouble. I'm not going to wig out about it. I think it was such a beautiful point, opinion points that you made there, Staci, about, really creating that balance and really making it taking care of you and being in alignment is so important.
Yeah, it really is. And when you're in alignment with yourself, with your higher self, with your God self, your divine self, then you're, and your heart's the magnet, right? And so things happen for you. They're always happening for you, but things can happen for you. So I need money for my family. Well, let's get in alignment with who you are and what your purpose is and your true self, and know where that is and stand in that. Money is it's not even real, right? It's just transferred online, like through thin air. It used to be cows, and it used to be chickens and horses and, coins. And now it's like paper, but is it even paper anymore? I don't know. So it's just an energy. It's an alignment in that energy. And if you want more money or need more money, then you have to add more value. The more value you add to people, to their lives, with zero attachment, is going to bring you more of the things that you want and desire. But you have to know who you are here and know the things you want and desire. What do I want? What do I desire? And know that this is what I want. Okay, great. Now I'm going to give some space for myself in order to honor myself, to really, whether you're praying, you're meditating, you're grounding, being connected to that, and then being on purpose with your conversations. Like I said, intentional, but yet being very much a person that's giving to others, but also open to receiving. A lot of people give, and they're not actually, well, no, it's okay. I'm like, oh no. I mean, what are there 2,000 references to abundance in the Bible and scriptures? Sign me up for all 2,000 of those. Right? I'm signed up. I'm already signed up for all 2,000 of those. I did Dave Ramsey's course years ago, Financial Peace Alignment. Like, sign me up for all of that, right? Because that we're here to live an abundant life. And there are spiritual laws, obviously, that we want to abide by in order to be able to live that abundant life. And we're learning those, or hopefully we've learned those. If not, there's some fantastic books out there to read to learn those books. That's my son. I started him when he was little, reading these books. But even before that, his consciousness and mind have always been merged. So he could always pick up on everything that I was reading and talk to me about the books that I was reading. And so fostering that once he started to learn how to read, it's really important. So now those conversations, actually, they happen energetically without us even having to communicate verbally. And that's what you want to have, those conversations with the people that you're in your life, right? Whether it's your friends, your family members, or your business partners. And staying in alignment is really important, and adding that value to people with zero attachment. I have to say that again, it keeps coming up, and I'm like a really intuitive person. And so I can kind of pick up on things and feelings of what people are getting or not getting. For some reason, you guys are not getting this, or some people are not. I don't know, or maybe you need to hear it over and over again. I have no idea. But this is what happens when I get around a large group of people. And the alignment. So if you don't know how to get into alignment, go outside every day, put your bare feet in the grass or the sand or the dirt or the mud or the snow or what ice, it doesn't matter, every single day. Give yourself 10, 15 minutes with no phone, nothing, and just observe nature and be grateful, right? Staying in that space of gratitude will help you get into alignment, because that's really where the sweet spot is, that appreciation, that gratitude for the things around you. No matter what is going on, we always have something to be grateful for. I mean, the fact that we're all on here on Zoom in the middle of the day we're super privileged, right? And so being grateful for these small things, and then knowing that when you honor yourself in that alignment every day, and then you're adding value to people with no attachment. And what that means is, a lot of times when we message people, you guys just came off of the office Zoom, right? And so we Zoom, we text people, and we message people, and we Facebook, and we want the people to buy. We want them to join. We want them to be a part of what we're doing, or whatever it is, right? We want them to be a part. And so we're holding attachment to them. Well, that's an energetic transfer of energy, right? And they can feel that. And when you don't have that energetic transfer to people, you're not connecting them with that cord, like, I want you to buy this. This would help you so much. You need this. That's an energetic connection that people are like, ugh. They might not even say that, but they can feel it. And their energy, their soul, their body is like, ew, no, I don't want to be a part of something that somebody needs me to part of, So when it's like, oh, I just want to share this with you. I just want to, add value. I want to educate you, give you some information. Here's a website, or here's a PDF. Check this out, great. Here, come to this Zoom. There's no attachment. And then they're like, well, yeah, I think I do need this. How do I get this? Or how do I be a part of this? Or I want to be part of this community. You light workers, you people, you like radiate love. I want to be a part of that. I don't even know what you're doing. I don't even know what you have. I just want it. I'm like, okay, great. Let's do that. Right. And so that's really what I stayed focused on, is that non-attachment, because, I remember one day, Gloria and I sat down and we were talking about our tribe, the qualities and characteristics we wanted in our tribe, and the people that we were surrounding ourselves with. And I said, when you're done with your list, text it to me and I'll text you my list. And so we text lists back and forth. And I was actually flipping through my notebook the other day, inviting people to some Zooms before Saturday's Black Friday Zoom. And I'm like, there's our tribe. I have it still open to that page that we wrote last year. And so that connection, that community, but yet no attachment to who that person is, no attachment to who those people are. I would never say, you have to be that person. You would be great at this. I want you. I need you. If this person would just buy or join me, then I would be so successful. And I'm like, no, girl, look in the mirror. You got to be that person. You have to be that person. And you be that person when you add a value with no attachment, no strings, and just stay in that flow of alignment and connection to source, to God, to the divine, whatever you call that. That's where that sweet spot is. It's the heart, the magnet. And so they do drop out of the sky. I've always said this all along, like, people just drop out of the sky into my life. And I'm like, oh, hi, yeah, let's be friends. Okay, great. Last night we were Zooming with people in Australia. All right, fantastic. We're friends now. We don't even know each other. And I'm talking to her about, meeting new people. And she's like, oh, I'm awful shy. And I'm like, yeah, but now we're friends. Isn't that cool? We're on the other side of the world and we're friends. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, can't you be friends with other people that you don't even know? Yeah, you can. You have to be open to those relationships, right? So not a lot of rambling there, but that's just, I think you guys got it now. I think I got my point across to whoever needed to hear it. However, I feel like that's okay. That one's checked. Next, Wendy.
No, that was awesome. Yeah. I always refer to my team, don't be sticky. Don't be sticky when you introduce and let people, or introduce this product or this new technology, of how they could, because it, as the old saying goes, those who have ears will hear, those who have eyes will see. We're just simply providing, and let them come forth if they're ready for it. We're not here to convince or hit anybody over the head.
No.
So what would you say is your strengths, and what's your weaknesses, and how do you compensate with your weaknesses?
So let's see. I would say, I feel like my strengths, maybe Marcy could tell you a little bit more. She seems to read me pretty good too. I feel like my strengths are, if I love you, I love you, like I'm connected to you. I will energetically connect to you, and I will co-create with you in a way that's going to blow your mind, right? If we jive, we are going to co-create together, and this is going to be a mind-blowingly amazing experience, and we're going to have lots and lots of fun together, right? If our energies don't jive, you don't exist. So I would say that's probably if I would say anything my husband would say, my weakness, and I don't think it's a weakness, but he thinks it's a weakness. If our energies don't jive, we don't see eye to eye on things. Like, you can have your opinion, your life, your belief, totally fine, but I'm not going to support that or be around that. It doesn't work for me. I want to surround myself with like-minded people. We can all have difference of life background, styles, choices, taste, like Marcy, earlier on here, I love you. So I can say this, Marcy, the first time we hung out together, I'm like, girl, we have got to go shopping. I'm going to help you get some clothes. We got to look a little bit more like SPDs, right? Let's go shopping together. So now that's our favorite thing. Like, when she comes in town, she's like, can we go shopping? We're going to go shopping. Let's go shopping. Yes, we go shopping. And so we have a blast, right? But knowing that I love you. Like, I'm so connected. But then also, like, if we just don't get along, it's okay. We don't get along, but I forget you exist. And that happens sometimes over the years, and not in a bad way. Like, not that you're a piece of crap, I don't want to be around you, but just, I have to really guard my energy. And because I feel like we all are here for a very specific purpose, a very divine purpose, to impact people and help them have the best quality of life. And if you're negative or toxic, or you're detrimental, or if your outlook on life is always horrible and you've got all these lacks and limiting beliefs, and I understand we all come, right, where we all have programs from our childhood. We can change those programs. We can choose to look at things in a more optimistic or beneficial, positive way for our lives. If you're not willing to do that, I can't be around that. Like, that's just toxic to me. It doesn't feel good, because like I said, I can feel people in energy. And when you go in a room, you're like, oh, I want to sit by him. I want to go over there. Yeah. And then you're like, oh no, don't want to sit by that person. Nope, not going over there. That happens all the time from when we're kids. And so we're always discerning the kinds of, energies and environments and people. And sometimes I find too, though, I may butt heads with people at first. We may be very strong personalities. And then I'm like, okay, I'm learning a lesson here. I got it. And then we ended up, being great friends. That happens as well too. So not by any means that, I'm perfect or have this perfect alignment and energy and bubble, but I have learned over the years that we create our world. We create our reality, and we do that with our thoughts, our feelings, our words, and our environment that we choose to be in is very powerful. The people we surround ourselves with, you always hear the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with, look at their incomes, divide it in half, divided by that 5 people, and that's your income. So, Bryn and I have always somehow lived by that, and always focused on, making sure we kept ourselves and our circles around. We love people that we love, but also around people that are going places in life, that have goals and dreams and aspirations and want more and are willing to do more and give more. Like, you listen to anybody, like Trey was talking today about this billionaire on TikTok that's offering this free course on how he bought Section 8 housing, apartments, and now how he's making $250,000 a month. He doesn't need to do that. He wants to offer his advice and his, information out there so other people can get started and do that too. So I'm like, yeah, those are the kind of people you want to follow on TikTok. If you're on TikTok, you better be following the people that have done something or going somewhere in their life and want to add value to others. Because I love Tony Robbins, and I love a lot of people. But I love how he talks about the 6 basic human needs. And most people are in the certainty, like, I'm going to stay in this relationship, or I'm going to stay in this house or this city for certainty, this job, whatever. Or they live in uncertainty, like, I'm going to go everywhere. I'm going to fly by the seat of my pants. I can't be tied down or strapped down to anything, right? That's another basic human need. Significance, we see, and we've all been here, so please don't think I'm judging by any means, but significance, where I want the title, I want the rank, I want I want to be put up on that pedestal with that trophy, right, or whatever. And so people live by that. And then there's love and connection, and not necessarily not love and connection like I love you, I want to be connected to you, but love and a connection in a way that I need this love. We see a lot of that especially, you know, with our younger girls or guys that grow up and they're missing those parts and they need this connection from another person. Or you see those girls, there's a lot of girls that, you know, at schools now that are trapping boys into getting pregnant. They need that baby, you know, saying I'm on birth control, and then they're not. And then there's this baby out of this teenager because they need that love and connection. So those are the 4 basic human needs that people kind of typically live on. But where we want to be, which is my whole point here, is growth and contribution. We always want to be growing and learning ourselves, but knowledge is really useless unless you're applying it, and you apply it best by teaching other people and contributing to other people. And so that's where I really try to stay focused, is growing myself, even through horrible experiences in life, right? You know, losing Taylor earlier this year was very unexpected. I'm sure every single person on here has lost people in your life. You've, you know, had different situations in your life happen. We've all had tragedy. We've all had life, but being able to grow through things and be able to contribute to others, and staying connected in that community, in that collective consciousness while we're contributing to others, I think is very important and powerful and very significant in what we're doing. If we want to look at, you know, staying in what to, you know, most areas of life, it's the growth and contribution.
Something you said there about contribution and spark, you know, I keep on trying to take notes, and then the thought just went away. Oh, there we go. So, you know, one thing I wanted to make a point with, because a lot of times, and I know Staci, you've been there, or maybe you haven't been there because you seem so utterly just confidence is like oozing off of you. But I know I've been there before. It's like, you know, have the, what they call the imposter, you know, role or whatnot, where it's like, I don't know. Yeah, I did learn that, but I don't really want to share it because, you know, maybe it's not what everybody wants to hear, but guarantee you guys, no matter what you just learned, no matter what you just went through, if you share it, there's somebody out there that is going through it too, or about to go through it, and they're going to learn from it. Because in about 6 months later, you're going to be someplace different. You're look back and wow, that's not me. No, because we're always growing. So always share, always contribute to whatever you think you can share. And it might not be the right thing for everybody, but that's not what's important. What's important that it reaches the right person to help them grow and to come out of their shell so they can actually go through their personal evolution. Those are some awesome and excellent points. So I heard before your strengths and I, yep, knowing you and hearing you from Marcy and whatnot. Yep. But I didn't really hear any weaknesses. And I'm thinking your weaknesses, you're like,
people off too quick. If your energy is terrible, I'm out.
But that's almost like a protection mechanism. And that to me, like, that's intelligent, because you don't want vampires in your life. You know, we're here to hold a high vibration, and in nature, doesn't matter if it's humanity, doesn't matter if it's in nature itself. Nature wants to create a homeostasis. So if you walk in a room, guys, and you're a really high vibration, and you've got some as grumpy as all can be, and you don't hold your space, you're going to do this. You're going to bring them up, and it's going to bring you down. So, you know, it was a time in our life that, yes, that was important to try to help others, but now we're here for a different purpose, you know, to really bring some light to this planet. And you got to really take care of your energy. I don't really think that's a negative, Stace, or not negative, a weakness. I think actually that's a positive, because that's self-preservation. Okay. I think it's awesome.
Some people, Brent seems to think that I cut people off a little too soon. So I don't know. I don't know if you have any weaknesses, Marcy, if you want to share anything. I don't know. I mean, honestly, go for it, Mars. Tell me what my weakness would be.
I would agree with Brent. And I don't necessarily think it's a weakness, but I think that it's a protection. And what I love about what I've seen in Staci, first of all, I just love her. And I can feel that she loves me, because energetically I feel that, and that's truth. And I would say what I've seen for Staci this year is that she's open to look at people a second, third time and love. And that's beautiful. It makes me want to cry. That's beautiful. And I think that might be a little new this year. And
it is.
And I notice, and you know, so that's what I notice. And because
that's thanks to you, Marcy.
Wow.
Right. That's thanks to you. So
wow. Well, that's a huge compliment.
Love you.
And so what I have noticed is that because Staci is opening up more, like everybody's coming, getting a little piece of your beautiful energy because you have opened it up for more people. That's what I've noticed this year. So anyway, that's all I'm saying.
Knowing you, Marcy, because I've known the growth that you've gone through, we've been connected throughout the years, and more so obviously connected the past almost 3 years now. And Staci, you as well, you've been working on alignment. And so there goes to show you guys, when you are in your alignment, and you will attract somebody who's in equal alignment, and you will find your soul family. Dr. Staci and Marcy, they're almost like two peas in a pod. Wonderful, as we all know, beautiful people that we love. So thank you to both of you.
Yeah, thank you. So I don't know, maybe I'll ask Brent about that again, what he would want to contribute to that part. And I don't want to say that I don't feel like I have weaknesses, but kind of to go back to what you said in the beginning with confidence, I was born just like a regular kid, right? But at age 4, my mom and dad put me on a t-ball field, and we were on this field in our backyard and at the ball field every single day until it was dark, because I was kind of a shy, awkward kid at age 3, 4, wasn't super outgoing or friendly, or even though I was with my brother, right? I told you I'd teach him and stuff, but I wasn't around in a group of social. My mom and dad were very social. And so they had lots of friends and all the people would hang out, and I'd kind of like be off in the corner. And so they wanted to help me get out of my shell. And so they put me on the field. And so literally every day of my life was about catching the ball, hitting the ball, throwing the ball, becoming the best in each of those positions. And not in a way that you have to do this, but in a nurturing way to be the best person on that field for that team. And so every single position I mastered over the course of, from age 4 to age 18. And during that time, I didn't realize it till after. Actually, I realized it once we moved here. But my confidence and belief in myself and my perseverance and never stopping, never giving up, going to be the best, and not the best to run other people over, but the best to run a team and help everyone rise together to that championship, right? Through those tournaments and states and regionals, nationals, all that stuff. It all happened on the ball field as a child, which is interesting. My parents are not confident people. My dad had passed away a couple years ago, but they were very quiet, reserved. My mom ran her mouth all the time, but not quiet people, not people that, Marcy's laughing about that, but not people that were very outgoing and, doing philanthropy or anything. Like my dad was a Boilermaker, my mom's a secretary. And so very much though, in myself and my brother, they nurtured the confidence and belief in ourselves that we could do anything and be the best at anything. And so both of us have went on with crazy amounts of confidence and belief in ourselves, perseverance, that we will go through and find a way through everything, and have become very successful in our own fields and what we're doing from those very formative years, from childhood up through, high school. So that's where my confidence is an inner game. It is completely an inner game. It's something you have to work on a regular basis. Unfortunately, as a teacher, I saw that most kids didn't have that. They weren't raised that way. They were talked down to, or there was no one there to even say anything, what we know, but based on the brain, right? When you study neuroscience, neuroplasticity, we know that up until age 8, your subconscious mind is completely wide open. So anything that a child is told from the second they're born until they're 8 is hardwired into their subconscious as a truth, a fact, a belief. And that actually continues on until about age 12 when they form their analytical brain. It's just the brainwave that they're in, right? And so that is huge when you look at our kids, our people, our adults, and our future too, is what's happening during those formative years as, people are growing up. And if you have a strong foundation at home, which I did, I'm very grateful for that. And I actually called my parents on the phone and I'm like, okay, I read the confidence code like 8 years ago. I'm like, yeah, now I need to tell y'all why I am where I am today in life. It's because of you, both of you. So thank you so much for having me on the ball field every day from sun up to sundown. We never went on a vacation. We never experienced anything in life, nothing but a ball field. And I didn't know any different until I was older. Then I'm like, why didn't we get to go anywhere? I didn't get to experience the world. And I know now that obviously that was setting me up for my future to be able to experience the world, which Brent and I have spent 25 years traveling this world and doing all kinds of stuff. And we got a lot on our bucket list still, but that confidence came from there. So I'm sure I do have some weaknesses. I'm open to constructive criticism. I love Marcy for sharing that was probably a fault of mine, but also a protection, because I just don't have time for it. And I have big plans and goals and dreams and missions, and staying concentrated and focused on that. The negative and the drama and the chaos just doesn't interest me. I don't want to, I don't have to be involved in it, but I am quick to go, cord's cut, goodbye. So
no, completely, absolutely relate to. It's like, your train's going 50 miles an hour and someone else is only going 10. If you want to keep your momentum, you can't slow down. And it's not a disrespect to any individual. It's more of a respect to your own personal growth. And I apologize. I did not want to go ahead and bring it up like you've got to have a weakness. I didn't mean it that way by any measure. I was just saying if you did.
I am open to constructive criticism. I am totally okay with it.
No,
I don't feel like I have weaknesses. I mean, enjoying a glass of wine on the weekend, if that's a weakness. But otherwise, I was just thinking
if someone had something similar, like, oh, okay, cool, then that's how I can strengthen mine. That's totally cool. And I didn't want to insinuate that.
Focus on the things that you're really good at. Whatever you're really, 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 really good at, what are your strengths? Focus on them. Do what you love and stay connected to that and build on that. Those weaknesses will fall away as you focus on the things that you love and you strengthen your strong suits. Your really good things about you will grow, and the weaknesses will start to fall away if you focus on building on your strengths.
Yep. And your weaknesses, be aware of them, know them, acknowledge them. And so, for instance, I know in the very beginning, like 20 years ago, I felt uncomfortable following up with people. It's like, I feel like I'm bugging them. So my upline, I said, they said, no problem. We'll do it together. So find someone who can hold your hand while you do that.
Yeah.
So
fortunes in the follow-up, that line needs to be in the top of your mirror. Fortunes in the follow-up.
Yes,
rejection just means they don't want ketchup with their fries. It's not a big deal. It's not you. It's just ketchup. Not you.
I love that. So Jay went ahead and mentioned, I think this is actually really good, something to address. Said people who are often going 10 miles per hour really do want to be going 50. So what suggestions would you mention to those people who are going 10 miles per hour? Like, gosh, I really want to go 50. I know what I would say, but what kind of comeback would you say of some nice suggestions?
Some nice suggestions.
Sorry. I couldn't find the word.
I love it. No. Okay. So I would get your calendar out, your day planner on your phone, on paper, whatever it is. And I want you to put in your time that you're honoring yourself. Is it 15 minutes in the morning? Is it 30 minutes in the afternoon? Is it an hour at night? I don't know, but where you are filling your cup. Are you meditating? Are you praying? Are you reading? What are you filling your mind with to help you change your programs and beliefs and perspective and awareness, right? So everything is about your perception. Okay. So my childhood, I had a perception, and then reading that one book shifted my perception. And then I realized, oh my God, this is why I am where I am, because of what they were doing there when I shifted my perception to, I didn't get to travel, I didn't get to experience anything, to, whoa, I am who I am because of this. So shifting, and that came through personal development and reading. So where is that time in your day? That's what I want you to put in your calendar first. That may mean you get your butt out of bed 30 minutes earlier, or you stay up 30 minutes later, right? But we need 6-7 hours, maybe 8 at the most of sleep, and that's it. So, take this phone and the Netflix or the Hulu or the whatever, and put those things aside and honor yourself first. Okay. And so if you want to go 50, it starts with you getting in that alignment and that connection, and then go, okay, if I'm looking at, say, in a business, I'm looking at income producing activity. Where is my income producing activity in my day? I have a full-time job, right? I remember when I was teaching, full-time job, 1 and a 3-year-old. I was building my first network marketing business full-time on the side. We had no internet. We only had email And that was a rarity. We met in person with every single people. I had people come on my planning period and sit in children's desks to meet with me to do a one-to-one. My lunch hour was someone else sitting in a child's desk in my classroom doing one-to-ones. You fit those things in your nooks and crannies of your day. And I honestly, that 9 months that it took me to build to the top of that company, while I was teaching full time, I didn't see my kids much. Like, I don't remember my son's birthday that year. I don't remember my daughter's birthday that year. I don't remember Christmas, Thanksgiving, or Easter, but I remember the day after I quit teaching. And we were outside with, my son was little, he was baby, he was in the swing, and Taylor was standing next to me. And she looked up at me at 3 years old and she said, "Mommy, you get to be home with us now because of Arbonne." That was the company that I was with, the first company. She knew as a 3-year-old that Mommy worked so hard, and I barely got to see her other than the, just coming and going, right? But she knew that now Mommy got to be home with them because of that. And so that was so impactful and powerful. I was like, yes, short-term sacrifices, long-term goals. Here I am, all these years later, 20 years later, and I'm able to be, completely, all right, we've been financially free for a very long time, but be able to have that freedom and flexibility to do and that kind of thing. So being very intentional with your day, your calendar, your schedule, your income producing activity, you can fit it in if you make it a priority. And I understand, like I said at the beginning of this call, we all have 168 hours in the week. So you sleep, let's just say you sleep 50 of them, right? 50 hours, you still have 118 left, 108 left, right? 108 hours left. So what are you doing with your time? You're working 40 hours, 50 hours, work 50, there's 100, you got 68 left. Right? You've worked 50, you slept 50, you got 68 hours left. Like, you could work a whole nother full-time job. Like, that's a fact. So what are you doing? Oh, I've got my family to take care of, my mom, I take care of my grandparents, I take care of my kids, I do groceries, I clean the house, I'm in car line, okay. So you're doing that another 30 hours. What are you doing with the other 38? What are you doing? Like, look at your time, look at your calendar, honor yourself, honor your calendar. If you want to go from 10 to 50, it's about that calendar, and it's about what you put on that calendar. And if you're like, well, I don't have any income producing activity, well, make some. It's not that hard. 3-3-3, right? Like, let's just reach out to people. I do 30-30-30. I may sit down and invite 300 people to a Zoom. I mean, it's not that hard. Copy and paste the message and send a little graphic with the picture, right? But so spending your time wisely. Trey is involved in the business now. He works 25 minutes a day. 25 minutes a day. He sends messages on Facebook. He got started at the top of the alphabet. So he's working his way down. He's in the L's right now. It's taking him 4 weeks to get to the L's from working 25 minutes a day. After he does that, he closes his laptop and he's gone, right? And he'll follow back up the next day. Or, I do a lot of follow up as well too. We tag team it, let's be honest. But he's very involved in it and very intentional, like I said, with his time and energy and effort. You put that energy into those people, the fruition is going to come, but you can't just sit down and mindlessly do it. So know when you have that in your calendar. It's not hard to go from 10 to 50. It's not. But remember, if you say it is, right? Whatever you say is real. If you say, I can't find anyone to do this business with me, then that is exactly what you're going to continue getting. You won't be able to find anybody. But if you say, every single person I sign up as a customer decides they want to build this business with me, they all want to share with other people, they're inviting people to Zoom, and they turn around the next week and they're managers, and then, oh my God, then they're like, okay, I want to go on that trip, or I want to be at that event, or how do I sign up for conference? And you're like, oh my God, okay, this is fantastic. Knew that would be, because that's what my intention is, right? But I'm like, oh, sure, of course we can do a 3-way call, and I can talk to one of your friends for you. Just let me do all the talking. So remember that it's really important that you honor that time and make that income producing activity a priority. And if you don't know how to make it a priority, then talk with your enroller or your upline, and obviously get on Marcy's office hours, right? That's income producing activity, as long as you're actually doing the work, like you're actually doing the work on your phone during that time.
People ask what he says on Facebook. Do you have a quick line or two? I'm sorry to interrupt, but people would, I want to do it. I want to do what she's doing. I want 300 invites. Did you hear that, you guys?
Okay, so the initial message is, it's one that I came up with last month. after a few. I tried a few of them. I like to put a message out there and feel the energy of the connection between the people when I read back through it and see what the responses are. So this is the third take on that initial message, and it's worked. We've stuck with this one. Hi, hope all is well with you. I'm sure you know how into all things health, wellness, and holistic I am. I've come across an innovative technology that I would love to share with you. Would you be open to look at it and give me your feedback and opinion on it? I'm happy to send you some samples as well if you like.
That is awesome. I love
and
it.
they go, sure. What is it? Yes. And then I have another message that I send that just has a quick little blurb with it as well too afterwards. And then of course they give me their address, or they're like, yeah, just give me that. I'll take that, whatever that is you're buying, whatever you're doing, I'm in. Yeah.
What's the quick little blurb after?
So the quick little blurb after, let me go to my notes section because I save everything in my notes section. My quick little blurb
Everything in her notes section she saves. Did you hear that?
Everything. I copy and paste everything from my notes section. Nothing I recreate over and over again. I'm going to put my energy into it once, and then that energy is thumbprint every single time, right? And so I say, awesome, I'm happy to send you info. Thanks for checking it out. Watch this quick little 3-minute video. It's the video at the beginning of startx39now.com. That little video, I send them that first as a little teaser, right? And I said, this tech is called Photo Bio Modulation. Have you heard of that? And then it's a non-transdermal patch. It's just the size of a quarter, and it signals your body to produce more of its own pluri-potent stem cells. It helps improve the quality of your life in so many ways. I've been using this daily, and I have seen some amazing results with people. Have you heard of it? Again, I'm asking them a question, right? So that's engaging them. And then once they respond back, no, I haven't heard of this. And I said, I hadn't either until last year. Oh my gosh, let me send you a couple PDFs. And then I send them the health tracker and the patch summary sheet and startx39now.com. And so then then I invite them to a Zoom after that. And so when I invite them to a Zoom, and then they're like, oh my God, yeah, I need this. I've got to have this. How do I get this? And I'm like, oh, here, hang on one second. Let me get your information.
So I know. That's interesting, Wendy. She basically, I counted, that was 4 or 5 little waterings. Did you get that? Mm-hmm. And are we going to put this on something so we can like write her script?
Yeah, so yes, if you would, Staci,
yes, I will share it with all of you. Absolutely, I'm happy.
If you want to, just go ahead and text it to me.
Oh, look, Leah put it in here.
I'll put it in.
She could put in some of it and it cut off.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah,
Leah,
so if you text it to me. Yeah, so if you text it to me, then everybody, when it uploads into Telegram, I will put the script 1, 2, 3, 4 as referring to the different waterings, because I know you guys are like, I want that. That sounds awesome. Yes, because it's kind of sweet. She's awesome.
Yeah. So let me send it to you because I've kind of tweaked a few things a little bit since the initial one that I shared with my senior directors above. So it got cut off. So I'll send it to you, Wendy, and you can put it wherever you want. That's fine. Okay.
That sounds good. Last question, because I've had like several people in the text ask about when it comes to your personal development. I know you are number one on personal development for anyone, especially for your downline. So what books or training or getting involved with this person or follow this person on TikTok or YouTube, what are your go-tos for people to basically pick up and follow or to read as well?
I knew you were going to ask me that. So when I got into network marketing 20 years ago, the company Arbonne that I got involved in was not about learn these products, find out the formulations, understand the ingredients. They're like, just buy the products. These things are pure, safe, beneficial. Trust me, the stuff you're using, scrap. It's great. Fantastic. And of course it was. Obviously, I still use a lot of Arbonne's products, but their whole thing was about personal growth and development. And the first thing they said was read this book, and read this book over and over and over again until you are a millionaire. Don't stop reading this book. And so that book, I actually have the actual original one. Look at this poor thing.
Oh my gracious.
This thing is 20 years old. Look at this. I got to show you guys. I have highlighted, underlined, starred. God, I used pink highlighter back then. How horrific is that? Spilled coffee on it. So this is the book. Okay. It's called The Science of Getting Rich. It's by Wallace D. Wattles from 1910. This is the book they said to read over and over again. Don't read anything else. Don't listen to anything else. The principles in this book, these are universal laws, and this will develop riches in your life. It is a mathematical equation. There is a science to getting rich, and it has nothing to do with being greedy or selfish. It's all about gratitude and alignment and connection and adding value to people's lives. All the things that I've talked about are right here. And so this book, even though it's very short, it's not that long, they're just 16 chapters, I've read it literally a million times. I'm serious. I've taught on this book for years and years and years. This book, I read this book my first 9 months in network marketing. And so I didn't know what network marketing was. I had dabbled around a little bit with a couple companies before, when Taylor was little and stuff like that, making some extra money, buying kids educational toys and stuff like that. But when I got into Arbonne, this is what they said to read. I was making $1,800 a month as a school teacher with a master's degree. And I was told when I had to show up, when I could go to the bathroom, when I could eat, and when I could leave. And then what all I had to take home with me, and then raise, 2 kids at home on top of that. And so I didn't like those rules. I didn't like those restrictions, and I wanted to eat and pee and drink whenever I wanted. And I wanted to be around my kids more than I did educating, teaching, and being around and raising other kids. So they said, read this. I'm like, okay, then I'll read this. I had no idea. So I read it. Fast forward 9 months, which, was the end of the school year, and I was making $15,000 a month in my network marketing business. And by the end of that year, I was making $250,000 and have never went below that since all these years, whether it was through residual income or actually, when I started the other business after Taylor got out of the hospital. It's this book is the foundation, and I have read thousands of books. Okay. I have read thousands of books. I listen to books on audios. My car is a book, literally a rolling university. I have attended a million workshops, trainings in person. Absolutely. 100%. I could give you a list a mile long of things that I've read and listened to, and people that I've attended, and everything that's woven into my life that has brought me to where I am right now and all along this journey. Right. But I still go back to this book. Always go back to actual get the book. Don't get it on audio. You need to write in it. You need to underline it. You need to star it. You need to write with a notebook with it. And there are a ton of good books out there that I attribute to a huge part of my success. But this is the foundational book that I always go back to, because its core principles, the universal laws in here, are literally not just about an abundance of money in your life, but of abundance of all things great from God: peace, love, joy, happiness, health, wealth, the prosperity. All of that comes from these core universal laws that we aren't taught in school, that we should be taught in school. So this is always my number one go-to for anyone to read, and to read over and over again until you do have a 6-figure income earner, or you are making millions of dollars a year, if that's your goal. Maybe it's not your goal. If it's not, make it and give it away. Then there are people that are homeless, that are hungry. If you don't want to keep the money, that's fine. Make it and give it away. But it's there to be made by everybody. Everybody has the same opportunity, the same advantage to do that if you fill your mind with the correct, the right information, right? Doing things connected to God, right? In that space. So.
Thank you. Is there any potential? I love Tony Robbins too. Mm-hmm. Any other speakers that you follow that you like their wisdom and you would recommend for others?
Yeah, I love Dr. Joe Dispenza. Obviously, I've followed him for the last 20 years. I've been to a lot of his events. He's fantastic. I love Dr. Caroline Leaf, who is very much the same, except she only teaches in churches. She brings scripture into quantum physics, so you understand that this is a God thing and that we are all one, and how you are to live, in a life of abundance and on your terms. So definitely love those two. I love Harv Eker, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. I love his events. I love Gary Vee. I absolutely love Gary Vee. Some people can't handle his language. I love it. Same thing with Tony Robbins. Bring it on. It has power. So if you don't like it, then whatever. But the messages are important about being kind, adding value, staying connected, and, really looking at how you can build any kind of income. Like Gary Vee's biggest thing here recently is garage sales. Like, go to garage sales, turn around and flip this stuff. You guys can make a ton of money. You've got to get out there though. You've got to work. And that's the thing. All of these people are about putting in the work. Put in the work yourself, and put in the work for, others, with others in your life, that collectiveness. And so Think and Grow Rich. That's a fantastic. I love Think and Grow Rich. I mean, Bob Proctor. Oh my God. The last one he did, it was like an hour and a half. It was literally a culmination of the 86 years of his life. And it literally was everything. I'm like, I've read, yes, that. Yes. I love all of the things, the personal development, but I personally am very connected spiritually, right? I want to have that spiritual connection. And that's why I tend to go towards the Florence Scovel Shen's, from the 1800s and, Earl Nightingale and Dr. Joseph Murphy and, the ones, Napoleon Hill from the early, 1900s. Neville Goddard is one of my favorites. Love Neville because they're speaking the truth, and they're speaking a truth in such a way that is not only, I don't say it's physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and etherically. It covers all of those realms. And I think that's very important. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. And one thing I want to kind of point out is everybody, look into some of these things that which Staci's mentioned. Go to what you gravitate towards, because that's what's really going to speak to you and to help you take that next step. And that's all we're here to do is take that next step, keep your focus on and be diligent and really keep your calendar, as Staci, reiterated earlier, make a calendar and make sure you know why you want to do it. And we talk about, you've always heard, what is your why? And, and the thing is the reason you want to find that is because what's really going to move you, right? What's really going to move you through all those days? Well, this is amazing. I thank you so much, Staci. Does anybody have any questions for Staci? If you want to, please just unmute yourself and fire away. We only have about, actually we've gone over, but we'll just take like a few minutes if someone has a specific question.
Which book does my 18-year-old love the most? Oh, he's read them. He's read all of them. God, what book does he love the most? There's one that is, it has Science of Getting Rich in it. It has Acres of Diamonds and As a Man Thinketh. All three of those together. He's read that over and over again. The Power by Rhonda Byrne, not The Secret, but The Power. That's definitely been one of his. Ernest Holmes, Creative Mind and Success. That's definitely been one of his favorites as well. The Money Code. That was one that I'm trying to think. He's read so many books.
Vicki has a question. Vicki, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thank you. I just wanted to, I know that you say a divinely guided no, a divinely guided yes. And is there a divinely guided not yet? I couldn't remember what else you say.
I always just say it's either a yes or a no. And again, there's no attachment. So whenever they are ready, I'm obviously going to follow up. I'm going to invite them to Zooms. I'm going to share with them whatever is the latest, greatest, whatever I want to share, and whether they respond or not. I do the 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. So if I reach out to somebody, I'll stay in conversation with them, right, for a couple days. If I don't hear anything back in that time, then I'll follow back up in 2 weeks, maybe invite them to something else. If there's still no conversation, I'll follow back up in a couple months, send them another invite, or reach out to them again in a different way. And then after that, it's quarterly. People's lives change every quarter: births, deaths, divorce, marriage, moves, jobs, things like that. And so then I'll just, touch base back with them again. But what I find that's happened, obviously, in this business the last year and a half, but in all my businesses, when they're ready, when their time is right, they'll come back to me, and they do. And they'll say, hey, so-and-so shared something with me about this. I know we had talked about, or you had sent me all this information before and I didn't, or you'd sent me patches and they laid there, or, whatever it is. I'm ready to buy now. I'm ready to do this, and I want to do this with you. Okay, great. That's fantastic, because I've stayed in their mind. Even though they weren't ready, their time wasn't right, I wasn't attached to them. It doesn't matter to me. I'm just sending out the information, right? So there's not an in-between. It's a divinely guided yes, or it's a divinely guided no. And there's a lot of people that haven't, joined me or purchased or whatever, and it's okay. It is what it is. But the way I look at it, there's 8 billion people in the world. And if I'm the magnet, my heart's the magnet, and I'm open to new friendships, relationships, business connections, personal connections. If I'm open to that, then those people are going to come to me. And that's obviously that's a yes, right? They're coming to me saying, okay, I want what you have. I want to do, or they're going to fall out of the sky. I don't know them, but we're going to become best friends. I didn't know Marcy, right? I didn't know Wendy. I didn't know Kathleen. I didn't know Mariah or Sean. I didn't know any of them, but I knew April. And so, you know, I was like, okay, April says you got to have this. You got to have this. I'm buying this. Absolutely. But I had to get on the phone with Wendy and Kathleen to understand the science and technology because they didn't have a clue, right? April didn't have a clue. They did. And then I had to get on the phone with Marcy to understand the compensation plan. So now we're all friends. We're all connected, right? I had to be open to that though. I had to stay in alignment. And actually I had just left Dr. Joe Dispenza's advanced follow-up workshop, 4 days, literally 20 hours a day in meditation for 4 days. Like we had a small break for breakfast, a small break for lunch. Like you got in your hotel room and turned on your TV and you went to sleep meditating to Dr. Joe. He was in front of you on your TV screen because it didn't work well for all of us to sleep in the auditorium every single night, which we had done in previous events. And so when I left that event, it was literally days later, and I get introduced to LifeWave. And I'm like, check, we're in alignment. Done, resign from the old company. Bye. You haven't been in alignment. Haven't been available doing things with you, but I no longer need that connection at all. Door shut. Goodbye. Here I am. This
Thank
feels
you.
like home.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, would anybody else like to ask a question? You can either raise your hand or just unmute yourself.
Someone said, how do you keep track of when you touch base back with them? Do you have a ticker type system? Oh God, no. For me, it's notebooks. Nope.
I use the Marcy notebook method.
This is what it looks like. I got about 6 or 7 of those. Got about 6 or 7. Yeah, here's some more right here. You know, they're just notebooks.
I always said, Dr. Staci, when I do training and be activating, whoever has the most notebooks has the most money in network marketing. Did you just see her notebooks, you guys?
The rest of them are stacked up over there on my other table because I've been inviting to Zoom. So
I didn't plan her to talk about that. But she just had them.
we're in the flow.
That is excellent. Well, thank you so much, Staci. I know everybody has just, wow, the great information and the inspiration and hearing who you are and what your life has entailed to make you who you are. I mean, you're an amazing person. You are of heart, you're of soul, you're of mind, you're in alignment. I mean, just amazing. And I'm honored to be a friend of yours, and we're honored to have you here today. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for asking me, Wendy. I appreciate it. I've enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys have got some value out of it. I hope you have. So
Can we watch this somewhere else? Like
Yes,
where will it be?
Yeah, it is recorded, and I will share the recording on the Be Activating group within the Telegram and also in the personal development group in Telegram.
Great.
And if someone's not in the personal development, it just has just the personal development recordings there. I will share that link again if you're not in there. It's just a place where it's up, but it always will be shared and Be Activating. And I don't know, Marcy, she might put it on the YouTube channel.
Yes, I will upload it to YouTube. It will be on Be Activating Testimonial. It will be on Be Activating Business. It will be on Be Activating Community. And I didn't know there was a Be Activating Personal Development. And if you give me that link, I'll put that on Telegram.
I'll put my little blurbs that I don't call them scripts. I just don't. They're blurbs. Okay. I'll put my little blurbs because I changed my blurbs. So I'll put my little blurbs in the Be Activating Telegram channel for you guys. I've got another Zoom though right now. So after I do that, I'll pop in and I'll put my little blurbs in there so you can have the most recent, most energetically connected, up-to-date blurbs.
We like blurbs. Blurbs are
I love
good.
ladies. And I have a friend who's got mother's milk, and she's got other girlfriends who are deciding to breastfeed and milk. Who can I contact and talk to get any, it doesn't have to be fact-based, but just someone to talk to them because they're very interested, at least 2 or 3 of them. And I've been asking around, just trying to get more information on that level. She's a powerful enroller, and she's been waiting to take the patches. She's watching everybody else around them take it, and she wants to take them.
As far as breast milk goes, we don't have any clinical studies on pregnant or nursing moms, so we can't make any claims that it's safe to use. That's per David. That would be a personal choice, as would it be to ingest anything or take any supplement or vitamin, nutritional medication, anything like that, even though we know nothing's going into the body with our patches. And we can't say that it is safe and tell someone to definitely do that. We would never be able to make that claim. It's a personal choice.
Yeah, and I understand there's a liability lawyer, clause
Yeah.
that almost everybody has that goes into we're not serving pregnant women, blah blah blah. We're not FDA authorized. But when she sees that, it computes into her brain to not be to
Yeah.
question.
We don't
Yeah.
have any way for her not to see that because there is no
You
documentation.
have to have that disclaimer for liability. I get it.
Yeah, but we don't have any documentation that says it's safe to use while pregnant or nursing. Everything says not intended for pregnant or nursing women. Consult with your doctor, physician if you have any questions, if you're on medications. Everything has to say that. You go to CVS, you turn over the back of every bottle, they all say the exact same thing. So we don't have anything in writing that says it's safe.
Thank you
Yeah,
very
and I
much,
explained the liability
Staci.
clause. Thank you,
Yeah.
everybody.
Thank you so much, Stacy, for taking that. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for being here with us today. Next month, we are going to have our beautiful Charity back, and she is going to do our vision board for the new year of 2023. So make sure you don't miss that. That will be the last Tuesday of the month. Charity will be guiding us. You see Dr. Stacy's
Right here.
your vision boards, guys, they're powerful.
Show
So
up with charity next month. It's going to be powerful. Do it.
Yep. So join us last Tuesday of the month, 12:15, same back channel, same back time. Thank you again, Dr. Stacy. Really appreciate it. And thank you,
Welcome.
Marcy, for being here too.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.